Ladies and gentlemen, I am here with Jaime Delgado, and I'm super excited for you to hear about his career, what he does, and what it sounds like. It's never a dull moment in the world of what this gent does. He's a hero, and he sounds like he's a humble guy, so I bet he's not going to like that. But make
Yeah,
no
no,
mistake, this gentleman is a hero, and we are just excited and grateful for your time, Jaime. So first of all, how are you doing?
I'm doing well. Thank you very much.
Well, we really appreciate your time, and we know time is currency and precious, so we'll get right to the point. Jaime, could you do us a favor and tell us a little bit about what exactly your job title is and what does that mean? Because it's blowing my mind.
All right, I'm a Chicago fireman. I'm on a heavy rescue company, Squad 1, which is downtown Chicago. And for the summer months, 8 months out of the year, I get detailed to the fast boat, they call it. It's our dive boat. Um, we have a 36-foot Boston whaler that we perform dive operations. So we go diving every day, patrol the lakefront, especially now during the pandemic and the beaches are closed in Chicago. People are flocking to areas where they normally don't swim, and they're swimming. It's been a busy year. People have been getting themselves in very precarious situations where they need rescuing.
And so that's your job, Jaime. You are patrolling the area, and if people need any help in the water whatsoever, you and your crews are kind of ready just in case?
Yes, yeah. So the heavy rescue company, I've been doing that for the last, this is going on 8 years. And we respond to everything from fires, vehicle extrication, structural collapses, water rescues, and our squad 1, it's our lakefront response is from Evanston border to 39th Street South. And then we have a dedicated water response team, the dive truck that they are citywide, north to south. There's 4 squads in the city that assist, but yeah, we travel great distances for water responses and also for fires and extrications, like I was saying, as far as the heavy rescue unit goes. But yeah, we're always, if we're not out running, we're at the firehouse practicing. Or now that I'm on the dive boat, we're out diving, refining our skills and working together with a different crew, just trying to figure out how everybody's going to do their job.
That's really unique and interesting. I totally ignorant in the world of fire departments and that, but very grateful they exist. So how does that happen where you're in the fire department, but then you end up in the water as well? Is that a common thing, or is that more of a niche job?
It's more of a niche. So when you go through the fire academy, back when I went through, it was a 6-month training, and they just prepare you for basic fire operations. You get your basic certifications, and then it's up to you as an individual to either continue your career as a fireman slash EMT, because you have to maintain an EMT license as a job description, and you can either stay that route and wait for promotion testing and test to move on in the career, or you can take what they call special operations classes, and that entails a ton of classes outside of the city with different firemen, different fire departments throughout Illinois, and it takes a little extra effort. You know what I mean? You put forth a little more effort. I had to pay out of pocket for a lot of these classes, and some people just don't have the financial means, or they're just not willing because they're waiting for the classes to be offered. But you take these classes, and that'll move you towards moving to one of these heavy rescue units, which not everybody wants to do. People are content being on a fire engine or fire truck. There's nothing wrong with that. I mean, it's great. It's fantastic. But for me, I always wanted a little more. What do they do? Why do they get to do all that? I want to try that.
Mm-hmm.
And you just move on. And then I was lucky enough to go into the dive unit, before I got on the squad, which was an interesting transition for me because as a kid, I almost drowned 3 times. So you would think I'd stay away from the water, but no, I just, I pursued it. The chief that was in charge, say about 9 years ago, he gave me a phone call one day and said, "Are you interested in doing this? And do you know how to swim?" And I said, yeah, I do. But, I was always told you never turn down an opportunity.
Right.
So I hung up the phone. I looked at my wife and I was like, I don't know if I'm going to be able to do this. I don't know. I don't really know how to swim. I mean, but I went in there, I gave it all I could, and he must have saw something in me because they brought me over to that unit for a year and a half where I was a diver the majority of the time, and I refined my skills. And the guys that were there, they were phenomenal, and some of them are still there today. They worked with me. They saw I didn't have the training of a lifeguard, which the majority of them work together as lifeguards, but I was sure trying to keep up with them, and I guess they would appreciate that. So they started giving me some of their lessons, how about try this? And we see you swim like this, so do this and do that. And today I'm a lifeguard. You know what I mean? It's I'm a rescue diver. I'm a swimmer. I joined the urban search and rescue team for the state of Illinois. So I mean, I just want to constantly do more. You know what I mean? And it's just about helping people. I enjoy it. I had people help me throughout my life, and I want to give back, and that's what I try to do.
That's very honorable. Thank you. And pushing yourself. It sounds like when you work in the fire department, there are some different opportunities besides just fighting fires. Yes. It sounds like.
Absolutely. You could, I mean, especially for the city of Chicago. The city of Chicago has so many different facets for their fire department. Like there's people they go right into headquarters because they're really good at something. Maybe they were a computer, genius, and they see that and they ask them, "Hey, do you want to do this?" Some people have excellent management skills, and they bring them to the academy, or they were once teachers or something. I had a guy in my academy class who was an assistant principal. He left that job to become a fireman, and the guy was great. I mean, they ask you if you want to come down to the academy, do you want to be an instructor, and you could still do what your old craft was. I mean, it's just a matter of what an individual wants to do. You can, like I said before, you could follow the path of just fireman, and I don't mean just like that's it, but you could go down the path as being a fireman, or you could be an instructor. You can it's endless. There's just different opportunities that arise that you can try to take advantage of. It just it's just up to you as an individual.
Interesting. I had no idea. Thank you. You're kind of opening up my brain, and hopefully students, you guys who are listening, you're opening up your mind too on some of the different opportunities. So Jaime, is it possible, could you take us through, it sounds like your job looks different in the winter versus the summer, but in the summer with the dive team and that, could you go through kind of what a typical day looks like?
Okay. Yeah. So I usually wake up, we don't start till 0800. So 8 o'clock in the morning is when roll call happens. But I wake up around 4:30. I get to the fire. I like getting all my stuff together early. So I get there about 5. I'm at the lakefront. I'll go for a run. I usually try to run between 4 to 5 miles a day. Because you never know what the day's going to bring. So I go for a nice run. I come back, kind of relax, kind of sit around after we get our gear together, and we develop a game plan. This is what's going to happen. Sometimes the chief has some kind of special events going on in the city. Maybe there's rumbling about people congregating around the beaches, or especially this year during the pandemic. They try to keep that down, but it hasn't stopped people. Especially now, the weather's hot, so temperatures are high, so people want to cool off. So he'll tell us, okay, we got to get out there, we got to patrol. So we'll do that for a while, see how things are going. We'll report back. We'll go for a dive, a training dive, just to practice our skill. Because I mean, sometimes we don't work with the same crew every day, so you want to develop a good game plan with your crew, who you have, different officer, different driver, and two different divers. You know, so by the time we're done with that, patrolling in the day and going for a dive, it's right around noon. So we cook for ourselves. So that one person's designated daily, you know, if you're going to cook next day or whatever. So we make it back to the firehouse or the safety station for where the boat's docked. And we start lunch. So that's usually about 11:30. Have lunch. Maybe we'll get a phone call to go meet at one of the harbors to watch or to be a backup for the dive truck that's going to go out and dive. So we'll do that. The squad will come down. They'll go dive with the squad, you know. So we just stand back and observe and are backup just in case something was to go awry. But we're pretty much patrolling the lakefront for the majority of the day. So we end up making it back for dinner. We usually try to eat about 12 noon and 6 p.m. So we'll make it back about 4:30, 5 o'clock so we can start eating dinner. And then once dinner's done, we typically try to shut it down. We set everything up, you know, get everything ready for a run if it comes through. And as I said before, this summer we've had our run totals pretty high. And we on average, legitimate runs, like actually either the Chicago Police Marine Unit or the fire department dive team are pulling people out of the water. And that's maybe typically 2 or 3 a day. And then as far as like water rescues go, because that'll range too. Our run volume goes up because there's boaters that are in distress. They lose power, whatever. I mean, we don't just respond to only, you know, drownings. We respond to actual boaters that are in distress. Maybe they're adrift at sea. Not too long ago, we had a couple teenagers up north that were on a inflatable kayak, and they were the wind shifted from a north wind from out of the west. They started coming from out of the west, so they were just blown. I think they were like 9 miles offshore.
Oh my.
And it was about maybe midnight, close to 1 a.m. when they were finally found. And we had a helicopter out there. We have a helicopter for the fire department. We were out there on our fast boat. The Chicago Police Marine Unit, they were out there. The Coast Guard was out there. I mean, all these resources were out there. They finally found them, you know, but yeah, I mean, it just all depends. I mean, every day there's always something going on. It's super interesting. You know, I mean, like I said in the beginning, there's never a dull moment. I mean, when you think, oh man, this is a nice day, there's not a lot happening, that bell will go off and it's time to go. And sometimes we won't be back for 5, 6, 7 hours. I mean, it's
Wow.
incredible.
Well, again, this just comes to mind. Thank you again for all you do in keeping people safe and helping out. That is a super selfless job. Is it possible to go into how you got started in this? Is this something you worked in from high school, or is there a pathway? Did you have a different career? How did you end up getting into the fire department?
All right, so pretty interesting.
Okay.
Back when I was a young kid, my parents used to bowl. So there was always a firehouse. It's right in the middle of the city. I mean, it's up north. It's on Diversey and Pulaski. The bowling alley is no longer there, but there's a firehouse right there. So my parents would park on the opposite side of that firehouse, and we'd walk right past. And I'd always like want to go inside and see, but I never really wanted to bother anybody. So I used to think, man, that's what a cool career. You know, fast forward a little bit. My buddy in grammar school, his father was a fireman, and they dropped him off on a fire engine. I thought, man, you know, just there it is again. You know, I just get that little thing like that is so cool. I was home one day from school, and my dad took me to Lincoln Park Zoo. And back in early 80s, you know, Lakeshore Drive had a real horrible S-turn. And there was an accident. So my father pulled over. I jumped out. He's helping a woman. You know, see there's a baby in the car. So I grabbed the baby, and I had to be in like maybe sixth grade or fifth grade or something like that. And I thought, man, this is like, it's scary, but it's like, there's a lot of adrenaline going on, you know, and the fire engine comes, the fire truck comes, they bring out the jaws of life, and, you know, they start spreading the doors and cutting, and they get the lady out, they extricate the woman. I'm thinking, yeah, that's pretty much what I want to do. But I was stubborn, you know. We'll fast forward a little bit, you know. Through high school, I wanted to do something else. I started going into culinary. You know, I always enjoyed cooking. You know, it's fun. We make it a family affair at home. But when I worked at the Hyatt Regency downtown. One of the chefs actually like talked me out of that career. You know, I don't know if he was just bitter, disgruntled, or whatever, but I took what he had to say at heart. So I started like trying to shift gears. Kind of stepped away from that. You know, after high school, I did go to culinary school for a little bit, you know, just to, maybe I was still going to be interested in it, but I got into something else. You know, I had a family, so I needed to start making money. So got into like driving a semi. I got an opportunity to take the entrance exam for the fire department back in 1990. I think it was 96 or 97. They don't come around very often. It's every 10 years. So I took it. They said, hold on to this letter for 2 years. If you don't hear anything, just disregard it. So 8 years later, they send me a letter in the mail asking me if I was still interested. So meantime, my wife's telling me, you know, if you want, we could go to New York, because now this is after 9/11. We could go to New York. They're looking for firemen. And I was like, I've never been to New York. I don't know if I like it. You know, I want to be a fireman, but for Chicago. This is my city. I love it. You know, I want to stay here. And super fortunate but stubborn that I was able to get on the fire department after 9.5 years, and just kept going ever since. You know, I mean, I still get the culinary aspect because I get to cook. You know, sometimes it feels like you're at a restaurant, because there's, at my firehouse, squad 1, there's 21 individuals, so you got to cook for 21 individuals, and you feel like a short order cook sometimes.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I was able to go through those steps of just, I guess it's all about timing and luck. You know, I don't know if there's any easy avenue you can take to get on the fire department. Maybe had I known this, I would probably pursued it. If you go get a paramedic license, you can apply to be a paramedic for the city. And then when they do have tests, then you could get on that way. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because 10% of each class has to be paramedics
Okay.
for a fire class. But I mean, there's plenty of opportunity. There's a lot of surprisingly, there's a lot of people who are not looking for this type of work, hands-on. You know, they're going through so many individuals to get a class. You know, because people are not showing the interest. I mean, I think it's a honorable profession. I think it's great. You know, and you talk to anybody who's a fireman, and they love their job. You know, and to be able to move around in a department and do so many different things, and you know, it's endless. I mean, it's great. I don't know. It's fun. You know, it's great. And I still, even to this day, I'm always looking to like do more. So like right now I have a PADI basic open water, you know, but I want to move on. I want to get my advanced open water. There's a rescue diver aspect on how to self-rescue yourself as a scuba diver. And it's mainly for recreational diving, but it's just certifications to have. So who knows, man? Yeah, I got 13 years left for the city of Chicago. After those 13 years, depending on where my kids end up, if they move somewhere to Florida or something, I could always, you know, have a dive shop. You know, I could go get my dive master or become a dive instructor or something. You know, I want to get a captain's license for driving the boat. You know, I mean, I was never really big on school, through grammar school, through high school, and it was never really my strong suit. I don't know if I didn't have the attention span. I just get bored, my mind starts wandering. So to be able to hands on, I guess that's why I like the heavy rescue unit, Squad 1, so much, because it's all hands on. You got to rig up a high angle rescue deal to rappel down and pick off some people that are stuck in an elevator, just or use the jaws of life to extricate, and it's all hands on, so that I can retain information by doing it with my hands, other than reading it out of a book or having it lectured to me. It's so much better. And I know a lot of kids are like that. A lot of high schoolers, their minds just wander. But yeah, there's thank God for labor. I mean,
Understood. Well,
yeah.
thank you. You brought up some great points about always moving forward, looking for the next thing. Our tag term in education is you're a lifelong learner, but I mean, it's true. You're always looking to grow, and I think that's great. I don't want to take up any more of your time. One last thing, if you could give any advice for kids in high school, is there anything you feel like that's benefited you that maybe they could learn from?
Yeah, I mean, just keep learning. When people would tell me that, I would think, yeah, man, I'm done with this. I don't want to take any more classes. But if you're doing something that you really enjoy, it doesn't even feel like you're going out of your way to learn. I mean, it just stay hungry, stay motivated, and then look ahead to the future. Find out where you want to be in the next 10 years and how are you going to get there. So yeah, that's what I'd say. Just stay motivated.
Well, that's great, Jaime. Thank you. Those are great words of wisdom. Once again, thank you for all you do for Chicago and being a hero. And maybe one day I'll run into you in Florida. You can teach me how to dive deep down in the water or something.
Sounds good. Thank you
Right.
very much for your time.